guys, there was talks about, how the team's confidence was, but you guys made free throws tonight, especially you, Braylon. How big is that? That was the difference in tonight's game.
This game was just about, like Coach said, getting our swagger back. As everybody know, we've been struggling the past 3 weeks, dropping games we shouldn't. So, it's a big confidence booster to come in here and win a game like this. It's big.
Brent,
go ahead, man.
Last game, Coach talked about just letting you play and run the offense, and if there's mistakes, there's mistakes. How do you feel about your performance tonight?
I did solid. First half, I had 2 turnovers, and at halftime, he talked to me about it. He said he's just going to let me play, so that gave me more confidence and, to believe in myself that I can run offense and do a great job. So that's what I tried to come out and do second half.
Jalen, how were your teammates able to get you the ball in there? I mean, Milwaukee was packing it in there pretty tight, but once you got the basketball, you went to work.
Yeah, it's easier to, get the ball inside when, making shots. We started the game making shots. I want to say the first 4 or 5 minutes we were making shots. So it's easier to get the ball inside when we're making shots.
You have questions for student athletes? All right, good. All right. Question for Coach, or Coach wants to do an opening statement.
It just feels good to get a win. I mean, how often in our history have we lost 3 games in a row at home? If you really think about it, I mean, the last 2 games at home, we never even were in the lead. And today starts out, they make a 3 to start. No, Isaiah doesn't get to jump. How many times this year haven't we gotten a tip? And they come down and make a 3, and then we score, and then they make a tough 2. And, it was going that way. It's been going that way, and it just feels good to get a win, no matter how it happened. We caught a heck of a break. A very good player who's having a tremendous senior year. I mean, he's the reason. He and Stoll are the reason that team's. You think about what that coach has done and what that program's done, and they're 4-6 in this conference, with losing every starter. Number 5, the kid that missed the free throws, was their 6th man last year. And he's really taken it upon himself. He's had a hell of a year. I'd vote for him for all conference right now if the vote was today. And, I felt bad for him, just because after so many years in this business, you feel bad for kids. He was pretty down after the game, and I just told him, I said, don't let it bother you. The only reason they were in the game was because of you. So I felt bad for the young man, but it was our good fortune that we missed him. And then we played it in the overtime. We were the team we were earlier in the year, and that's the first time since we walked off the floor at Valparaiso that for any length of time, that 5 minutes, we looked like a good basketball team, because I don't think we look like a good basketball team all night tonight, and haven't since we walked off the floor at Valparaiso. So that 5 minutes, outstanding, and let's go to Youngstown now and see if we can build on it.
Coach, what about Braylon Neely, the freshman? I mean, you can look past the 1 of 7 when the young man's going to make every single play down the stretch, right?
Braylon can thank this jacket. All right? The guy made this jacket for me, Grant, from Grant Clothier, made this jacket for me 3 years ago. And I wore it here. I've worn it one time, 3 years. I wore it here for a game 3 years ago. And it's so ugly I never wore it again. And we're playing ugly, so I thought, we're ugly, so I'm going to wear it. Well, I put it on, and just before I went to the locker room, I reached in my pocket, and in there was the stat sheet from the game I wore it at. And it was from Kay Felder's freshman year. We'd beaten Robert Morris 190 that day. And Kay Felder's line was horrendous. And it made me think to myself, yeah, all we remember is Kay Felder. We don't remember his freshman year. But he got to play through the stuff. And so I told myself, I'm playing him. I'm going to let him play through all his mistakes. And if we're going to be good in March, I've got to do that. And he made me so mad in the first half. He threw 7 to 8 crap passes. back in high school, flip it anywhere I want to flip it, throw it up in the air. There must have been 4 times in the first half we jumped in the air to keep it from going out of bounds on the sideline. And obviously, earlier in the year, I would have yanked him. But without Stevie, and really, you know, what's our alternative? To put Sharon out there? And Sharon needs to get back to playing the way he's capable, and I can't be moving him around. So we let him go, and then I thought, the last 5 minutes of regulation and the overtime, I thought Braylon Neely just grew up, and you know, he made all his free throws. He wanted the ball late. He took some big shots. He made a big shot. That scared that he played with was gone, and I commend him for that. You know, we talked as a team last night about a lot of stuff, and one of the things we talked about was when you get your chance, you can't say, oh, I only got 3 minutes, or, you know, this is your chance, do something with it. And he did, and now, you know, I feel a lot better about our future, just based on that performance. But he can thank that coach.
What's the update now on Stevie's status?
Stevie will be evaluated in 2 weeks from this Tuesday. So next week will be the Tuesday before the Detroit game. They're going to take the cast off and re-X-ray it. And we'll see. It's an aversion fracture. And I have no idea what that is, nor have I asked. I probably should ask, but I have a hard time even pronouncing it. So when Tom Fork tells me he can play, he can. I can't sit there and worry about it. If you look at, you know, we're doing a lot of soul searching right now, and one of the things we're looking at is when we played well, what we were doing. And to be honest with you, when we play good, Stevie's been pretty good. And you look at the Valpo game, you look at Oral Roberts, what we did to Oral Roberts here, you look at the Georgia game. He didn't play a great game against Georgia. Bugs had that great defensive game, but he still played 20 solid minutes. And, you know, when Stevie hasn't been very good, we haven't been very good. So, you know, and we kind of knew that going into the year, that position, that point guard position might be an Achilles heel for us. Sometimes through adversity, you get stronger and strengthen it. And if tonight helps strengthen it and Bugs keeps playing, and then when Stevie comes back, all of a sudden that might be a really, really strong part of our team, and that could really bode well for us in March.
Jalen has had back-to-back solid games. How important has he been this last couple games?
Well, I really think he's, through all this, he's been the bright spot. When you realize that all 5 guys are guarding him every possession and they're daring us to shoot, and I think one game he didn't have double figures through this, what is it, a 6-game streak now? We lost to Detroit, we lost 4 out of 5, so a 6-game streak. I think there's only one game in there he didn't have double figures, and I think he was in foul trouble that game.
Coach, 3-point shooting in that same stretch has been a struggle. Today it seemed like you got off and you hit the first couple, it seemed like, and were you thinking maybe that was over, or were you thinking?
I would be lying to you to tell you that I didn't think one of these games were going to come out and go 15 for 25 like Oakland teams do. And Martez, I've seen him go 7 for 2 in that scrimmage against Central Michigan. He had 39, 7 of 12. Nick Daniels has made 5 to 6 in a game, and tonight he started that way. Who else is? Sharon has had 6. You know, so you know we're capable, and it's Oakland. That's what we do. But I really think that we have to go through. We've played 23 games, and the stats don't lie. You know, when you play 23 games, you are what they say you are. And unfortunately, the first 13 games, we were at 35%. That's not great. That's middling. And I kept thinking, wow, we're 35 and not doing it. We're going to get this up, and we're really going to get going. Because I've said at the beginning of the year, I thought it was one of the, we don't have the Hooper, the Bader, the Kangas, the Rosicki, the Buddenborg that we've had all through Division I that can go out there on any given night and make 9 or 10. We don't have that, but we have a lot of good ones. And so I thought, you know, and it went completely opposite way. And I mean, if tonight's performance was our best performance in 6 games since we left Valpo, and we're 27%. And we're happy. I mean, Martez stepped up. I mean, we have a 2-point or 3-point lead, and as he came running by, I looked at him, I go, can you make a 3? And he said, yes. And so we ran a play called choice double that will get him a 3-point shot. And I said, okay, we're running choice double, knock it down. He runs it, Bud's kind of bobbled the ball, so he caught, he didn't catch it in rhythm, shot it and missed, and Hayes went over and tipped it back to him. And Sharon was wide open at the top of the key. He could have easily given it up to Sharon, and he shot it, and he made it. And that, I really feel good about that. Even if he'd have missed it, I felt good that, because you gotta believe in yourself. And so that was a big 3, and we'll see what we can build off this.
Next stretch versus Youngstown State, Cleveland State, Detroit. If 1 or 2 areas improve outside of 3-point shooting would make you feel more comfortable with your team, what areas would you want to see more improvement on?
I just want to see belief in themselves. I want the swagger back. I want, when we were 14-3, our bench, it looked like everybody was having fun, and we were dunking and talking smack, and we looked like a team. I've been around it a long time, and I think Jeff and the administration and everybody else felt really good that, man, this is a good-looking team because they play together, they defend, and then with 7 minutes to go in the Detroit game, we lost it. And it's not back. And maybe today will help get it back, but that's what I'm looking for. We make mistakes. We really struggle with taking instruction out of a timeout and taking it onto the floor. Even the last play that Martez got the shot on, it did not, we had 2 timeouts, and it did not go the way that we drew it, and it should have. Now, in the second timeout, we saw the way they lined up. I had a play in that had options, and when they came out and called timeout, they helped us because they allowed me to talk through the options with my team, because me screaming at them is not a way to, okay, if they're doing this, do this. This team can't do that. We can't. So it gave us a timeout to get it, and even at that, we had 2 of the 5 guys not do what we had just. There's a board there, and this is you, and you just do this, 2 of the 5 guys couldn't remember who they were, I guess. All right, so maybe I should get pictures on the board and put pictures of them or something. And see, come up with that idea, you might be able to sell a lot of them.